Hello students, welcome back to your computer science class. So we are learning the for loop right now and I have shown you all two programs over the last 2 days. I hope you all have been following it. I hope you all have been practicing it because that's all I can do. I can hope. But you all can do much more. You all can practice. Okay, so today we are going to learn another application of for loop. Okay, so if I say for I in let's say a string, okay, let's say 1, 2, 3. I'm writing the numbers 1, 2, 3 in the string. And I want to put a statement out here. I'm putting a print statement which says welcome, comma, I, whatever will be the value, welcome I, sign. Okay. So what will happen over here is when I will run this program, I is going to take values from the string 1, 2, 3, and it will take the number 1 first, then it will take the number 2, then it will take the number 3. So I becomes 1, I becomes 2, I becomes 3. So it will be welcome 1 time, welcome 2 times, welcome 3 times. Also, it will be in a different line every time. Okay, so I'm just going to save this. This will be my for loop 3, in which I'm doing strings with you all. Okay, and then I will run the program and see. Okay, apparently this you were not being able to see. Now you see it. And for I in 1, 2, 3, print welcome I times. I is going to take the value of 1, then 2, and then 3. Going to run this. Welcome 1 time, welcome 2 times, welcome 3 times. All this, okay, and this had the word, this had a string in it. Okay, so here I is a loop control variable and it is going to be assigned value of the string 1, 2, 3. First time I will be 1, second time I will be 2, third time I will be 3. Body of the for loop will be executed for each value of the loop variable. That means the body will be, sorry, body will be, your for loop will be executed for each and every time the loop runs. The body of the loop for loop over here is only one print statement. In the first iteration, the loop shall be executed with I equals to 1 and it will print welcome 1 time. Then the body of the loop will be executed again and I will take the value 2 and it will print welcome 2 times. Again, the same method of execution shall take place. I will become 3 and it will print welcome 3 times. Like this, it will keep printing till there is value inside the string. After 3, there is no value over there. The string ends. So automatically the loop will end. Okay. Have you understood how for loop will be used with strings? Okay. Now, like if loop has else, similarly for loop also has an else. Okay. And when do we go to that else? Whenever the for loop is going to end. So I can say something like successfully ended the for loop and coming out of it. Okay, now let's run this program and see. This time it went 1, 2, 3 times, and then it showed you successfully ended the for loop and coming out of it. So whenever the for loop is going to be successfully ended, it's going to end. Okay. The first time the for loop ran, value of I was 1. Although after printing that line, for loop had not ended because I would still take another value. Then I took the value 2 and then I took the value 3. After 3, there was no value to be taken. That means the for loop had ended. That is when the else statement is executed. Okay, showing you one more example of for else. Take another file for that. Okay, sorry for that. Okay. So for this for else program, I'm going to be taking something like, let's say, for ch in the word Goa. I'm missing the bitches. Print ch. Else else let's print leaving the loop. Okay, let's run this. We must save it, so I'm going to save it as for else loop. Because now we have understood for implication. Now we're looking at the, so if you look at this, ch, so in the above program, the for loop is used to traverse through the string. Traverse means visit each and every letter. Okay, traverse meaning each and every letter. So over here, the for loop is used to traverse through the string Goa, and it gets printed on separate lines. Once the for loop iteration gets over, the else part gets executed. And finally, the message leaving the loop is printed. The range function used in the above loop. Okay, we have not really used a range function, but the range function, when used in the above loop, will generate the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is if we use the range function over here. Okay, so let's say I told you all to do the table program yesterday. Okay, so in that, when we can even use the range function for that. Okay, how will I use the range function for that? So that I don't have to take any input from the user. That means I will show them what I want, whichever table I want. Okay, so using for and range function, this program is for that. And let's say I say number equals to 3. Or I can take an input from the user. And then I say for I in range I to 1 to 11. I want the multiplications from 1 to 11. And what do I want to print? I want to print the number 3. Then I'm going to print multiply by I, again in equal to, and then finally number multiplied by I. Okay, so I can use this function also to do the same work that we did yesterday. Okay, we are using for with the range function in this. Okay, and it says 3 into 1 equals to 3, 3 2s are 6, 3 3s are 9, 3 3 3 4s are 12. Okay, how will I tweak this so that I can take an input from the user? I'm just going to go over here and say integer input. Integer input. Enter the number for displaying the table. Okay, I need to close this so you can see it properly. Enter the number for displaying the table. So let's say 34, and I'm getting it. Done. Okay, done. All right. So in this, the range function used will generate the values, and I is the loop control variable. Loop control variable means it takes the value on its own, and it will be assigned each generated value for which the body of the for loop will be executed. Okay, so over here, I is the loop control variable, which is assigned a generated value automatically, and it is generated for the body of the for loop. So I cannot print this I function outside, I cannot print the I value of the variable outside the for loop. Okay. Now, we are going to do one more program for today before we call it a day, because most of these programs were nothing new or things you have done. Okay, the string was new, but this program we had already done. We just implemented it using the range function. Again, range function we had already previously done. So today, what is a factorial? Do you all know what is a factorial of a number? Have you all aware of it? So we are going to make a program to calculate the factorial of a number. We'll take the number from the user and we are going to calculate the factorial and show it to the user. Okay, so let's take a new file for that. Factorial of a number. Okay. In this, I'm going to be first taking a number from the user. So I will say integer input. Enter a number. Okay. Then I'm going to use something. I'm using one more variable called fact, which is 1. Okay. And then how I'm going to be using this is like that. I'm going to use the range function. So I'm going to say for I, which is my loop control variable, which will get its automatic values in, and I'm using the range function. But inside my range function, I'm using the number that the user has given me. So if the user will tell me 5, then this range function will give the value of to I from 0 to 5. It will not give the number 5 ever, but 0 to 5. Okay. And I'll go inside it. And inside what I'm going to do is I'm going to say factorial equals to. Means I am reassigning value to the variable factorial, which right now has the value 1. But once this for loop will be executed, the value will keep changing. And I'm going to say factorial equals to factorial multiplied by, and in the bracket, I'm writing I plus 1. Now, why I plus 1? Because initially when I start this loop, I'm going to have the value of I as 0. Okay. So when I say, if I use only the word, if I say factorial into I, anything into 0 will come to 0. I don't want that loophole over there. So I'm saying I plus 1. Let's run this and check. Okay. Enter a number 5. Nothing happened after that. Why? What happened to this? Why did it not take place? Yes, silly mistake. Can someone help me here? I promise you, my program is working. My program is calculating. My program does not display. My program is not displaying the calculation it does. And if I use the print function over here, let's say print factorial, that means every time my for loop will work, that many times my factorial will be displayed. I don't want the factorial over here. Okay, I will say the factorial of number num is, and then I want to display the factorial. If I put it inside the for loop, it will display it every time it runs. See, can you see that? Every time the for loop ran, that many times it printed, because the print statement is inside the for loop. Print statement is inside the body of for loop. If I just remove it by an indent and then run my program, I only get the final answer. The factorial of number 5 is 120. Okay. So this is a factorial program. I will explain it to you all just once again. I'll give you all 2 minutes to write these programs down, because now these programs will become important for you all. You all should understand it. So you all will have to write it down. Factorial is basically the product of that number and all the integers below it. So 4 factorial means 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 4. So the factorial of number 4 is 24. Okay. So what happens over here is, so first I take the number from the user over here. So let's say the user puts the number 4. Okay, then I have factorial which has the number 1 inside it. Then I say I in the range num. Num is over here 4. That means the value of I will be, I will get these different values for every iteration. First time it will get 1. Second time it will take 2. Third time it will, sorry, this is all wrong. First time it will take 0. Then it will take 1. Then it will take 2. Now it will take 3. Finally, it will take the number 4. But it won't try, it will not run when it is the number 4. Okay. It will stop. This is the stop number. Remember, if only one number is used in the range function, it acts as the stop number. So it's not going to run this time at all. Now what happens in each of this? When it goes to 0, when I is 0, okay, let's assume the first time for is running, it's going to take the value of 0. So how does this work? This says fact will be the placeholder. Okay, it will be the container. It will be the place where the value is going to be saved. Okay, so it will say fact equals to. Then the second fact over here will be the value of the fact, that is 1. Right now, the value of factor is 1. This is your factor. Okay, at the very first iteration, okay, at the very 0 iteration, value is 1. Okay, so we are going to take 1. It's going to say multiply, and in the bracket, we are saying I plus 1. So that would be 0 plus 1, that would be 1. 1 into 1 will be 1. So now the value of factorial has changed to 1. Again, it was already 1, but because of the calculation, it has changed to 1. And this is my time when my I is going to be 1. Now, it will go up. Okay, now I is going to take the value 1. Now, what is going to happen? Now, again, factorial. So F equals to, what's the value of F right now? 1. 1 multiplied by, what is the value of I? I is also 1. So 1 plus 1. So the value will change to 1 plus 1 is 2. So the value is going to change to 2. This will be 2. This will be 2. Now when we come back, again, I becomes 2. That time what is going to happen? Now I is going to go again and it's going to become 2. So we are going to say factorial equals to 2 multiplied by, what's the value of I? 2. So we will say 2 plus 1. That is 3. 2 3s are 6. So now this value will be 6 and this value will be 3. Okay. Now it will go and I is going to become 3. Now I is going to become 3. When I becomes 3, what will happen? Factorial equals to, what's the value of factorial? 6. 6 into value of I is 3 plus 1. So 6 into 4 is equal to 24. Again, after it will come out, it will go I becomes 4. 4 means stop loop. It's going to stop right there. It's not going to do anything. Okay, factorial now has the number 24 in it. Over here, the value has changed to 24. It did not run when it became 4. It will become 24. It comes out, and over here, we are displaying it to the user. So we are going to say 24. Again, the num that we took from the user remains the same. It has not changed. It is 4. Okay. So this is your factorial program. I hope you all have understood it. I hope you all have written it down. And I really wish you all practice it. And practice it once or twice with watching. But after it, close the book and try it on your own. Okay. With this, I end today's class. Stay home, stay safe, take care, and keep learning. Thank you.